Hello, I'm excited today to share about my philosophy of leisure and how the readings that we've had in this class have impacted that. Obviously, I feel like my philosophy of leisure and recreation is a little bit biased or skewed because I am a recreational therapist and have been for 12 years. I'm also getting my master's in recreational therapy. So everything I learn about leisure and recreation immediately I apply in like a sense of therapeutic value. So that's definitely changed the way that I see therapy or see recreation and leisure. However, I feel like this class has broadened some of my thinking. And so I'm excited to share that with you today. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay. So I feel like my view on leisure may look a little simplistic, but I didn't really want to build it like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, where like you have to achieve one to move on to the next one. It is kind of a state of flow, though, which I use flowchart. So as you identify different things, you kind of move through the chart. So my leisure philosophy is defining your values and choosing beneficial activities that will allow you to connect and grow. So again, starting at the base, my leisure philosophy is defining your values and choosing beneficial activities that will allow you to connect and grow. So I'm going to kind of take you through each step of this flowchart. So starting with values, what do you value, and are you spending your time doing what you value? So I believe there's kind of this disconnect, especially in our current times, between what we value and how we actually spend our leisure and free time. So when we actually have sat down and thought about what we value, then we're going to spend time doing that. There's a lot of ways that we can be a little bit mindless in our leisure activities right now. Say you really value being outdoors in nature, but when you get home from work, you're spending your time just like consuming content because there's endless amounts of streaming devices. Then you're not actually participating in leisure. And I don't feel like then that's actually truly leisure for you. So I think it's first and foremost important to define your values. So if you restore restoration in your leisure, then are you spending your time resting, doing yoga, meditating, spending time in nature? If you really value relationships, then you might be doing, service type activities, visiting with people, maybe church involvement, date nights, going to parties, because that's how you value spending your time. Maybe it's health and wellness. So you enjoy cooking and exercise, perhaps travel. Maybe you enjoy like cognitive things like exercising your brain. So you spend your time doing puzzles or word games. Maybe you enjoy reading and researching, being in book clubs. Something that's changed for me throughout this class is thinking of education as leisure. We saw when we were learning about leisure in times past with Aristotle, Socrates, Plato, they really valued philosophy, learning, and deeper thinking. And that's how they spent their time. So therefore, that was their leisure time. This really changed my perspective on getting my master's degree. For a long time, I thought that leisure had to be like a fun party type experience. I don't think that's true. It's whatever you value. Because I've waited so long to get my master's degree, I've really wanted to get it for the past 10 years, and it just hasn't worked out until this year. And so when I come to do my homework, I am actually kind of excited because I know that I really value education, and this is something that's going to really help me grow. And so I get to enjoy spending my time doing that. So because I value education, when I do participate in it, then that can be seen as leisure for me. The next stage would be choice. So once we've established your set of values, then you move to being allowed to choose it. If it doesn't feel like a choice, then it's not leisure. It was interesting talking last week about choice. I kind of take the stance that the more choice, the better. A lot of you actually disagreed, saying the more choices you had, like the less quality the choices are. That's why I think it's important to start with a value base, because with leisure, there's infinite ways that you can spend your time. But if you know what your values are, then you get to choose what will be most beneficial to you based off those values. And choice is important because nobody's ever going to call work leisure. Nobody says like your daily living skills sees that as leisure, like showering or getting ready, doing your laundry. It has to be a choice. I think we can see this a lot with exercise. Especially as the new year's coming, a lot of people make these goals and are really excited about, jumping on the exercise train and getting healthy or whatever. But they do it for a little while, and then because it's not something they actually value, they taper out and they don't re-engage. I've seen a lot of people that try running just because they think it's going to help them get fit the fastest, but they end up dropping it because they don't actually like it. So it doesn't feel like a choice and it's not leisure. But if people are willing to look at exercise that they might enjoy, that they'll return to, they can turn to leisure that will bring the benefits you're looking for. So, trying out CrossFit or yoga, cycling, dance, home workouts, bike riding, hiking. There's a lot of forms of exercise out there. If you feel like you're choosing that you're going to do it and it's something that's enjoyable to you, then it will turn into leisure. Then you'll see the benefits that you're hoping for. So I feel like choice is a very important part of leisure. There needs to be a sense of freedom and choice for it to be leisure. Okay, and the third step is connection. There needs to be connection that happens through leisure. Again, I feel like this comes maybe from my bias as a recreational therapist, but in my career, I've connected through recreation countless times. I've worked a lot with teenagers, and there's been countless times where the therapists were unable to connect with a teenager and get any insider information more than just like yes and no's. And then I am able to come in and hand them some art supplies. And as we're like painting or doing some sort of recreational activity, they're able to open up and start expressing themselves. Sometimes poetry has been a really powerful tool because it just doesn't feel so sterile of an environment. And so they're able to connect using recreation to be able to open up to me and other people. I've also seen it do some very powerful things with people with schizophrenia. A lot of times they'll speak nonsensically, be paranoid or tangential in their conversations, and it's very hard to get a sense of their thought patterns and what they're trying to express. And then same thing using art, they're able to draw and be able to like formulate sentences again and share what they're drawing, and it may be something meaningful to them that's actually based off of true life experiences. And so recreation has this beautiful power to connect. So I often advise or prescribe those struggling with mental health to pick an activity to do and then someone to do it with that will benefit their mental health. It's not always going to be another person that you're using connection for. It might be connecting with a higher power or nature, something bigger than yourself. Again, we saw this through the ages with different philosophers. They were trying to reach and grasp for something that was bigger and deeper than themselves. And so they were seeking that deeper connection. It may be possible that you're connecting with yourself. Like I said, poetry, you might use poetry to express something deep in you. Maybe finding peace in a bubble bath or going on a walk. A lot of times leisure, people connect with their animals through leisure, going on their walks with dogs or spending time with their pets. So leisure facilitates connection, and that's an important piece of it. The last step is growth. The leisure will deepen our learning, our senses, and our emotions. You'll find benefits based off of whatever values you choose to engage in. You'll find that you're more committed and involved in your life, and you'll feel more sense of control. So it allows, by going through these steps, it allows you to feel like there's growth in your life. It's not so stagnant. People want to feel like they can change and grow and improve. And by participating in meaningful leisure activities that they value, that's possible. And that kind of brings that, I guess, the tip of the Maslow's hierarchy, where they're able to really feel like they're in control and have a sense of quality of life. So that is my philosophy of leisure. I'm looking forward to seeing how other people have set up their things.